Okay, so there was three different stories, but they're all beloved authors by Diana Palmer, Ann Majors, Susan Mallory, as they led us down the bridal path in three brand new stories set under the Montana sky. And I can totally see why Dan Seals and Marie Osmond sang that song "Meet Me in Montana." Besides the TV show Yellowstone, if you look at that Farm and Ranch magazine and then you read these books by the Montana Mavericks series, it's just like the real men are in Montana. Just saying. Young and innocent Abby is determined to marry Mr. Absolutely Wrong until her childhood crush, Chase Derringer, rides back into her life. And boy, does he. That first book is called The Bride Who Was Stolen in the Night by Diana Palmer. And she is a well accomplished author who has sold 10 million copies of her books in print, award winning in North America's most beloved author. She got her start in writing newspaper reporter, published her first romance novel in Silhouette Books in 1982. In 93, she celebrated publication of her 50th novel for Silhouette Books under Affaire de Coeur, listed as one of her top 10 romance authors in the country. Diana Palmer is the winner of numerous National Walden Books Romance Bestseller Awards, National B. Dalton Booksellers Awards. Her fans world over treasure her sensual and charming stories. This book started off kind of, it takes you a trip down, like, her parents were gone, and Chase Derringer had to raise her. Then he took a break because he was starting to feel attraction towards her, and he didn't want that. He had got a girlfriend out where he had moved to, and I always want to say her name wrong. I think it's Dariana or something like that. Anyway, she throws it up to him at one point. Does Abby says, "Well, what about her?" And he's just like, "Well, what about your fiance, Troy?" Well, she ends up breaking the engagement off, and she was going to go relocate and just start a new, herself all over. Well, he gets this phone call, Chase does, that the wedding's off, and he's already bought the wedding dress for her, and yet he's extremely jealous of Troy. And you can see that jealousy come out. They share an intimate moment, and it brings those feelings to surface. One of my favorite moments in the book of hers is when he takes her riding, and she makes the mistake of getting too close to one of the cows, or bulls, if you will. And he's like, "What's wrong with you, you little idiot?" And I'm thinking to myself, if somebody said that to me, I would go Beth Dutton on them. Just saying. You don't call me little idiot. But instead, it flips her switch, and those two, they ride off into the sunset happily ever after. Then comes Bride, Baby, and All by Ann Major, which is a prim and proper pregnant Felicity who refuses to be wooed by sexy rancher Kirk Conroy, the first man she wants and the very last man she'd consider as a daddy to be. Now, Ann Major is an author that of more than 34 novels and Silhouette's best-selling and most beloved authors. Her larger-than-life characters, compelling plot lines, sensual prose have touched the hearts and emotions of millions of readers all over the world. Whether she writes a simple love story or more intricately plotted tale of romantic suspense, she always delivers, and her books have repeatedly placed at the top of national and international bestseller lists. That book was a little bit of comedy ensued, because Chase has asked him to look after Abby's friend who's been through a bad relationship, Felicity. Now, at first, Felicity's trying to keep him at arm's length, and she's trying to think of all the reasons not to fall for this man, because she's seen the way that these women flock to him, and she's already had a bad relationship. She doesn't want another one. So she's using that kind of like as the arm's length approach, if you will. But she is having a little secret of her own, which comes out, and then she's like, okay, this is a good way to force his interest to decline, if you will. That's what she was going for. So as she pushes him away, the best thing I can say about Kirk is that he forces himself more into her life. And it's a very interesting book. I think that if you read this book, you will find it enlightening. You'll enjoy a little bit of comedy, but you'll see how that push and pull in the book makes it a better book. Now, the third book, which is called, and it's the final book, Cowgirl Bride. Now, it's a lady wrangler, Sierra, who's convinced she doesn't need love. But heartbreakingly handsome Daniel McLean intends to change her mind, and fast. Well, it was very entertaining in that book because her and Dylan had been in a relationship prior. Kirk is her brother. So it all ties together. We start off with Abby and Chase, go to Felicity and Kirk, and then Sierra and Dylan. And it's all like tied together. And you'll see how in the book. I ain't going to tell you how. You got to find out to read the book. But anyway, Sierra is the sister to Kirk in this situation. And Kirk has kept love letters from Dylan from his sister. So it's not like that Dylan didn't try. But Dylan did, in my book, did do her wrong. And I don't know if, you can come back from this one, because he ended up marrying this woman who was really trying to put a wedge between the two of them. But one thing that I did like about Dylan is he finds out that the son that he thought was his is not in fact his, but he still raises his son as if he is his. And the little boy falls in love with Sierra, if not more so than Dylan, because he practically begs her at one point to become his mother, because his mother doesn't want anything to do with him and even forgot him on his birthday, which was such a heartbreaking thing. And, for a parent not to want to be a parent, well, that says a lot. Anyway, in the book, after, she reads the letters and reads how the kid may not be his and how he regrets, how he ran away from love and didn't face up to his responsibilities with her, let alone what happened. So they work things out, and you have to read to find out what happens next. But I don't think I gave you the how-to about Susan Mallory, which is one of my favorite authors. She lives in sunny Southern California, where eccentrics of a writer are considered fairly normal. Her books are both reader favorites, bestsellers, with recent titles appearing on the Walden Books bestseller list, USA bestseller list, and her 1995 special edition novel, Marriage on Demand, was awarded Best Special Edition by the Romantic Times magazine. All in all, you don't want to miss this book. There's 3 amazing stories. They're all romance, western, and it will grab your attention, and you will be like nonstop page turning to find out what happens next. So make sure you check out this book. You won't regret it. And all 3 books get a rating of 20, so that tells you something. This book, Montana Mavericks Weddings, will be in my bag to go to the Candy Kitchen. Just saying. So that's exciting in itself. So you don't want to miss out. And if you see this book, pick it up because you won't regret it. Okay. Well, I was not going to sing a song, but now that I'm drinking my sparkling-free, sodium-free, calorie-free water, I kind of feel a little energized. So you'll get one song out of me. Why? Because I like even number videos. So don't go anywhere.